Thank you all so much for joining. We'll be getting started in just a few moments.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for the introduction, Melissa. My name is Kristin McGillicuddy, and as Melissa said, I'm one of the instructors in the IMC program. I've been privileged to teach at Stonehill College for 18 years and have so enjoyed the experience. I teach both undergraduate and graduate classes there, and also have about 20 years of corporate marketing experience. So, one of the things you'll find about our programs and my classes, especially, is that we try to apply a lot of real world examples and make sure that the work is really speaking to you. Our webinar today is an example of this practical application, web analytics for the not so analytical. We might think that perhaps only the folks who work in marketing, web, the analytics department might be the ones most worried about looking at those metrics to see what's working and not working in our digital marketing efforts. But I think a lot of our students, and perhaps you as well, are finding that in this day and age, we're wearing many hats. We might be a small business person, we might be working for an entrepreneur. We all need to roll up our shirt sleeves and understand so many different aspects of the business. So today, my goal is to present the topic of web analytics in a way that everyone can understand it and find it useful. So let's jump in. Well, first of all, what are analytics? These are the collection, reporting, and analysis of web data. Our focus is going to be on identifying measures based on your organizational and user goals. So this makes it very personal and very specific. Your goals might be very different from a colleague's. Number two, we're going to use the website data to determine the success or failure of these goals. It's great to have goals, but at the end of the day, we need to know if we met them. And third, driving strategy and improving the user's experience. The driving strategy part is making course corrections to ensure that whatever we're doing is truly helping us meet our goals. And on an ongoing basis, we want to improve the user's experience, especially where a website is concerned. So there are four main types of analytics, and this is a really easy, practical way to look at the whole topic of analytics. There are descriptive analytics, and these provide basic information, your who, what, where, when, and how many, and so on. Just basic metrics that you're going to be measuring for our discussion today, things about your website or your digital marketing. There are diagnostic analytics, and these answer the question of why. Oh, we know something's going on, but we need some metrics to tell us exactly why it's happening. Then there are predictive analytics, and these identify relationships between different variables. If we can say, for example, whenever A happens, I see that B also happens, we can start to predict things that will happen in the future when these various things take place. And last but not least, there are prescriptive analytics. And these answer what if. And our ultimate goal with them is to predict the outcomes. So if we have a prescription for something, we hope that after we put that tactic in place, that we will know what the outcome will be, and it will be to our advantage. Now let's talk a little bit about some real life examples. Off to the left there, you see the 4 different types of analytics. Let's look at the first picture on the top, something we've probably all done. We've talked to our doctors. Perhaps someone goes into the doctor and says, "Oh, I have a little bit of a fever. I'm having some sinus pressure. I'm sneezing. My throat is a bit sore." The doctor will be asking a lot of questions and gathering some basic information. These are descriptive metrics. What's happening? When is it happening? How high is your fever? And so on. So these are just some basic questions to describe what is going on. And then the doctor tries to diagnose us. They try to figure out why. Well, perhaps it's because of pollen, or perhaps you do have a sinus infection, which is caused by a bacteria. And the doctor will probe further and perhaps run some tests to see if perhaps something in your blood test indicates something that he can diagnose you with. Then when we move forwards towards predictive analytics, the doctor again tries to identify a relationship between something that he or she might do to help make whatever's happening go away. Well, if I prescribe an antibiotic, typically this happens. Or if I give you an antihistamine, typically this happens. And then, of course, there's the prescriptive. Whatever this final outcome is, the doctor will be providing some action steps. And based on this doctor's experience and education and everything else that a doctor has, hopefully the correct outcome will be predicted. Well, we're all familiar with this scenario, and the same exact thing happens in the business world. You can see on the bottom photo, there are 2 very concerned people. Perhaps they have a new product launch. They're an e-commerce business, and they've just launched this product on the website. And the product, unfortunately, is experiencing sales that are 20% below what they had forecasted. Well, the first thing they're going to do is look at descriptive analytics, just basic information. How many are they selling? Where are they selling? When are the sales happening? Let's just gather all the data that gives us the facts. Then they're going to try to diagnose it. Why has this happened? They'll look and say, boy, as soon as someone clicks on the web page of this product, they immediately exit. Or we're finding that they're only spending an average of 30 seconds on this web page, and they usually spend 2 to 3 minutes on our other pages. They then try to predict when they see one thing happening, something else is happening. So this can help them put together kind of a prescriptive plan where they look at analytics to say, all right, we're going to put some fixes into place here. Perhaps we strengthen that website, or perhaps we change the information that we're giving people. We write more compelling copy so that more people will want to buy the product. And then they try to predict the outcome that is to their benefit from all these prescriptive analytics. Now, analytics can seem very overwhelming. I've pasted in some charts here, lots of numbers, lots of bar graphs, and even the term big data, which is a very popular and well-known term nowadays and really refers to the vast amount of data that we have. And the experts say that we are using a very small percent of it. But don't be overwhelmed. Obviously, if you are a marketing professional working in your primary role with marketing analytics, you are going to be well versed in how all of these programs work, how all the calculations work, and so on. And you could be giving this webinar and teaching us all a lot of great information. But if you are a general business person and you have perhaps some responsibility in the area of website, digital marketing, or you're in another functional area like HR, finance, supply chain, and so on, you still might be called upon to understand these marketing analytics because, especially where a website is concerned, it's going to affect everyone's job. That website is your outward face of your company. It might be a sales issue, it might be a communication issue, but it is going to be important to everyone. So what's really nice about analytics is number one, we only need to use what we need. Big data, again, it's overwhelming. There's so much there. But let's go back to our doctor's example. If you went into your doctor and told him all those sinus infection symptoms, oh, I have pressure in my face and I have a fever and I have a stuffy nose, would your doctor say, okay, I think we need an MRI of your knee? No, that's not what you need in terms of this diagnosis. And just like that situation, you will not need every metric and every piece of analytics that's out there. Number two, another really great point about analytics is that nearly every website, social media, and software platform has built in analytics. Some of your larger firms will even have homegrown systems that have actually been programmed to showcase and pull out the data and analytics that are specifically useful to you and your colleagues. So these programs are there and they do this heavy lifting for you. And number three, your job will often be to use the analytics, not calculate them. So it may seem like a lot of numbers, a lot of math, a lot of calculations. There's also a lot of acronyms, I will warn you, and you have to keep up with those as well. However, some of the basics that we're covering today, such as the types of analytics and how to work through and identify which ones are useful to you, will probably be what you're responsible for and what will be most useful to you. So, what you want to know when you are looking about at analytics, you want to say, number one, what are my business goals? What do I need to know about my business related to the goals? Am I meeting the goals? And if not, why? What should I do to correct this situation? And once I do correct it, how is this correction working? So these 5 questions will help you in a very practical sense decide how analytics can really work for you in your individual situation. Now, there are so many different buckets or categories of analytics. In the digital marketing class that we'll be taking this summer, for example, we work with Google AdWords, and that analytics package is all about online advertising. And we work with a mail program, so you're looking at analytics for email campaigns. But if you look at these 3 categories, these are some other very popular categories. So, for example, perhaps you're looking at your website. Very simple things that could help you determine if your website is effective in certain areas. How many visits are you getting? What are the top pages that you are having visited? Where's the traffic source? In other words, where are people coming from when they get to your website? How much time are people spending on the page? Bounce rate. That means how many people are visiting your website and leaving right away. Exit pages. Which pages are they exiting from the most? Perhaps if we were interesting them and providing relevant content and products, they wouldn't exit. And what is the value per visit? We can actually, in some programs, attach how much people are buying in terms of revenue and attach that to visits. So these are very practical analytics, and these programs that I mentioned will pull those out for you. You have to decide from a very practical standpoint what will be most useful to you. If you're in sales, there are a variety of metrics useful for you to do as well. Many revolving around conversion. Converting people is what we really want to do in all of our businesses, from a visitor or perhaps a potential customer to a buying customer. So there's conversion rate, cost per conversion. It's great that we're getting people, but how much does it cost us? Revenue by traffic source, acquisition cost. How much does it cost for us to get that new customer in the door? Average order value, customer lifetime value. All great analytics that will be useful to you in your role. And then if you're a person working with social media, there are a whole variety of metrics there. A lot of different metrics refer to reach of your posts. So how many people are you reaching, whether it's a Facebook, a Twitter, a Snapchat, whatever it might be. Audience growth rate. For example, in Facebook, you might be counting the number of likes and the growth of people following your page. Social share of voice is a big one. You want, by its very nature, for people to be social with your social media and to share your content. Engagement rate. Are people engaging? Are they writing back? Are they clicking? Are they liking? Conversion rate. We do sell on social media, so that's another great metric for social. And then click-through rate. People who are actually clicking through some of the content that we have. Now, here are some examples of some reports, which again, hopefully make anyone who might be a little leery of analytics to feel much better. You'll see many of the metrics that we mentioned on the prior page are right here in a very easy to read format. I see visits, I see page views, bounce rate, and again, there are analytics packages that are set up for almost every major platform, from Google Analytics to Facebook Analytics. And you also have a variety of what I call homegrown analytics packages, where a large analytics company will tailor this to your specific situation and make sure that you're getting the measurements and the data and the reporting that you need in a very easy to read format. So in closing, analytics should help you achieve your business goals. That's the only reason they're there. And back to the whole concept of big data, we don't need to use it all. We only need, per this second bullet, to use the analytics that will help you identify the information needed in meeting your goals, and those that will help you correct any missteps. And third, if you utilize the user-friendly analytics tools readily available in most platforms, it will work to your advantage and will be much easier than you think and so helpful in achieving your business goals. Now, what we've talked today about today is really a sneak peek at the summer digital marketing class that I'll be teaching, IMC 613, here at Stonehill as part of the IMC program. This course will be fully online. In fact, all materials are digital and they're all accessed online, even the textbook. The course format is a combination of readings, videos, online interaction, and simulation. And the simulation is what's going to be a really great tool in providing real life practice in both paid ad and email marketing programs and analytics. So the analytics and the simulation package that comes with this course mimics Google AdWords and MailChimp. So it really nets out a very useful experience. Not only all the content that we cover, and you can see the key topics over there to the right, everything from basic digital marketing information to web design, online advertising, online reputation management, and SEO, and so on. But as part of the course, you will be running your own campaigns in the simulation. It will be giving you feedback through the analytics, and you'll be making course corrections for your next round. There's also a discussion board up where students share and they provide helpful tips and best practices. You can post questions with anything that might be perhaps a little more difficult for you, or questions that you have on what if I ran this type of a scenario for my email marketing. So there's a lot of great camaraderie and interaction among the students. And as always, we try very hard to make sure there are real world applications to your personal work or area of interest. So no matter what functional area you work in, you will come away with a really great sense, for example, of what makes a good website and what are some web design basics, or how should I be putting together an SEO strategy, and how can I do that both on my website and off my website. Basics of social media and mobile marketing, which is fast becoming probably the biggest area of marketing as we all use our phones so much. The purple asterisks here let you know that today's webinar was a sneak peek at two topics in both analytics and social media. So I thank you again for joining us today for our short webinar, and I hope it was helpful and useful. Again, analytics doesn't have to be a scary thing. I find the value is more in the upfront understanding and planning of what analytics you might need and how to use them. And the rest will usually be provided by a very user-friendly analytics program. On this page, you'll see two things. There's a link for more information on Stonehill's IMC program. And then if you'd like to register for summer courses, including digital marketing, which is IMC 613, there's a link there. Our courses this summer will all be online, and they start the last week of May. And it would be wonderful to see some of you there. So thank you again for joining us, and I will turn our seminar over to Melissa.